Welcome back, or welcome to the Meekness Missionary. If you're not new here, you know that there's been a few seasons of this podcast where we grow together, we learn together, and we just become more of Christ. But this is season 4, and in season 4, we're going to talk about the lessons of 27. Crazy, right? For me too. But we're just going to get to know each other, we're going to dive in, and we're just going to learn each week what the Lord is teaching me throughout this journey in this season and just this chapter of 27. So tune in to hear all about it. So we're back with another episode 4, and this episode's going to be all about navigating the new. So how are you? How was your week? How have you been? Honestly, I've been struggling, going through it. If it's not one thing, it's the next. If it's not the dog, it's the students. If it's not the students, it's me. It's just been all over the place. And who would have thought that I would have moved into this new place and it would have just been chaos? But it has been. And it's really just understanding that we can't clutch the ground and expect to soar. We can't expect to still be a caterpillar and move like a butterfly. But I've just had to really meditate on scripture and just remind myself that when my heart is overwhelmed, that I just need to be led into a rock higher than I, which obviously is God. So we thank God for just being God. We thank God for just being who He says He is. He never leaves or forsakes us, and for that, I just thank Him. So before we get any further, let's get into scripture. Today's verse is coming from Ephesians 4:17 through 24, and it reads, "This I say, therefore, and testify in the Lord, that you should no longer walk as the rest of the Gentiles walk, in the futility of their mind, having their understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God, because of the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart, who, being past feeling, have given themselves over to lewdness, to work all uncleanliness with greediness. But you who have so learned Christ, if indeed you have heard Him and have been taught by Him, as the truth is in Jesus, that you put off concerning your former conduct the old man which grows corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and being renewed by the spirit of your mind, and that you put on the new man which was created according to God, in true righteousness and holiness." Okay, so that's a mouthful. But what we can get from this is that we need to no longer walk how we used to walk, and just embrace the new and walk in the new that God has called us to be in. So putting on those things of new, putting off the former conduct, but putting on new conduct and new ways of living, new ways of habits, new patterns, new cycles, instead of continuing to go back to the old or the familiar. So conduct means like behavior. In school, you got a conduct grade, which stood for your behavior. So when it's saying put off former conduct, that means like old habits, old patterns, old cycles, and instead walk in the new, being renewed by the Spirit of God and putting on the new man, meaning becoming more of the Spirit and less of the flesh. But to do this can be hard. It can be hard to break cycles, to break chains of old, to unlearn habits. And lately, that's where I've been finding myself. The other day, God gave me a revelation of 2 pens, and I wrote it down so I didn't forget. But the revelation was that I had 2 pens die in 1 week, and instead of getting a new pen, I picked up an old one. Eventually, the old one resulted in the same cycle. It burnt out. Instead of putting on the new, I keep picking up the old, hoping for different results, but instead it leads me to the same result of continual burnout. So this is just your reminder to walk out the new, to ask God to help you navigate the new, because like I said, it's not easy. It's not something that just happens in a day, but like everything else, it's a process. And this process can be tedious, it can be hard, it can be just ongoing. It definitely is the fruit of the Spirit, long suffering, if we had to talk about it. But just really trying our best to even step out of the old and into the new, getting out of those old things that were familiar and comfortable, but instead walking in those things that aren't so comfortable and the things that are calling us to growth, the things that are helping us to elevate and get to those higher levels. So I just encourage you to just realize that God is for you, and when He's for us, nothing can be against us. So this is just your reminder to just truly decree and declare the scriptures over your life. Just remind yourself that you are the head and not the tail. Remind yourself that He would never bring us to anything He can't bring us through. So remember that when you're going through these challenges, these circumstances, these trials, these tribulations, that God is by your side and that He's going to help you navigate through them.